What's up, people? It's a great day to have a great day, and on this day we might as well be great. For today is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for blessing my video with your presence. It is greatly appreciated. Now for today, the topic of this video is just a nice health update. I know I published a video a month ago explaining a little bit about the situation. I went to the ER. Scariest day of my life. That is what it's titled. Also what it actually is. You can go check that out if you want at any time, but I felt that it was needed to give a full health update to everyone so they know exactly what's going on with me. It's been a rough one. I didn't got put through the ringer, but we still here. That's the thing that matters, is that we still here. So this video is going to be split into two parts just because there is so much. This will be the first part, and then I'll publish the second part tomorrow. So please stay on the lookout for that. Without further ado, we're going to get started in this first part. So we're going to rewind all the way back to 2021. I was finishing up my last year at Ohio Dominican University. For those who do not know, I do play football, or did play football, I must say. I played running back for Ohio Dominican University, which is a Division II school in Columbus, Ohio. Definitely check out my highlights. Crazy work over there, I must say. I'm gonna put the video up top. Crazy work over there. One of the things that I endured while I was there is I was having some pains and things like that. One of the pains that I was having is pain in my groin. And I continued to push through the season just because that was my last season. And I wasn't gonna sit out, just plain and simple. I wasn't gonna sit out. Nah, not for the last year. So during that time, I was kind of doing everything to kind of help kind of fix the groin. Really, Isis? Okay. I would see that. Got a dog attacking the pillow right now. You finished? No. Okay. Nothing was really working. Long story short, I continued to finish the year. Then 2022 happened. Now this time earlier in the year, I was doing some rehab and trying to get ready to go to a combine. So in March of 2022, there was a national combine, not the one that everyone is probably aware of, but this one was more so for smaller schools. So players who were coming from Division II, Division III, NAIA schools, people that just probably didn't have the exposure, but still wanted to have that opportunity. So I went there, did wonderful. But during that time, I was still having some pain going on in between the drills and different things like that. I was often kind of stretching and using a massage gun, trying to get everything kind of feeling a little bit better during that time. As soon as I got back from the combine, my parents had to take me to the urgent care. I was severely dehydrated, overexertion, along the lines of, the doctor said along the lines of rhabdomyolysis. If you're not familiar with it, essentially it's just overexertion and dehydration to where your kidneys are kind of like, what are you doing to me? And essentially different things start to shut down. So I was having tons of body aches and feeling just completely out of it and exhausted. So from there, I kind of tabled my training, took a second step back, continued to work in order to be able to fund this living space that I'm in. After the urgent care situation, I wanted to kind of get that growing situation that I was feeling even back during the season and during the combine kind of situated. So I went in to talk to the doctors. This was around March. So that same exact month, I went in to talk to them and explain what was going on with my growing. They turned it up to possibly something going on with my testicles. So I ended up getting an ultrasound on my testicles. Nothing came back. And then they referred to me to do some physical therapy for my growing. And I'm like, I know how to do physical therapy exercises on my own. What am I going to do that for? So I kind of tabled all of the exercises and football in general for some time, just so I can continue to work and earn enough money to be able to move out to Columbus, which is where I am now. Fast forwarding to August of 2022, then I was like, you know what, let's figure out some of this lower back, hip, growing situation that's going on. I figured that, hey, if I don't ever play football again, at least I want to live pain-free. So while I wasn't training, hey, I should probably spend that time to figure this out. Went into the same doctor's office and talked to the same doctor this time about the hip and the lower back. They termed it as sciatica in the lower right back and as well as the right hip. They ended up making me do 8 weeks of physical therapy because of the insurance companies. Insurance companies, y'all gotta do better. What we doing? I understand the money aspect of it, but your boy was in pain. So they made me do 8 weeks of physical therapy just to make sure that it couldn't get better through that, and then I'd have to do an MRI. I wanted to get the MRI kind of right off the rip just because I felt like it was needed. The doctor said, hey, this is something that you have to do, which is policy. And then after that, the pain lessened, I'd say a little bit, but nothing really changed. After the 8 weeks of physical therapy, I went in and talked to the same doctors. Now this time they were like, okay, let's process those MRIs that you've been asking for. But right before that, they did want to do a x-ray on my hip just to kind of make sure that everything was okay. So there was no fractures or anything like that going on with my hip. So then we were moving on to the MRIs. Thing is though, I'd already started training. Again, running, lifting. I said, hey, these guys are moving a little bit too slow for me. I had that urgency of wanting to really get back to that shape that I was in. And I started feeling some chest pain, 2 weeks ongoing before I went in for that MRI checkup. The chest pain was more so when I would do extreme intense cardio. So running miles, jump roping, doing a lot of things like that. And it usually reached to a point to where I'd feel this sharp pain in my chest to where I need to stop. I'd stop for a little bit, it'll go down. And then if I continued, it'd still be this sharp pulsing pain that had happened right in that left upper chest. So as I was getting my MRI scheduled, my doctor said, hey, let's do a physical since you're in here and we can kind of knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. I said, okay, bet. I already mentioned to my dad that I would tell them about the chest pain, but it never dawned on me while I was in there. I just wasn't thinking of it. And then when she mentioned the physical and she asked me, then I remembered, hey, I'm supposed to be telling you about this. So I am glad she said something about the physical. They did an EKG on me. The doctor said it was something that was a little weird kind of after when I'm like a couple of my heartbeats just didn't look completely normal. And they termed it as having inflammation in the heart wall. They put me on a medicine named colchicine, which was supposed to reduce some of that inflammation. I was on that medication for about 2 weeks. I didn't really feel any different. They told me to reduce my cardio as well as bring down the intensity of my exercise. So that was what I was kind of going forward with after that visit. The following week on a Monday morning, we went into a Esport of Fitness, which is a gym out here in Columbus. We started off on the bicycle. I was going very low tempo, trying to take it very light, and I started to feel it in my chest. So I took a break off of that, did some core exercise when my girlfriend finished up her cardio. Then we moved on to some back and biceps. We did a seated row, and then we did some bicep curls, and then we moved on to the lat pull down. On my second set, I kind of walked off in the distance a little bit away from her just because I started to feel that chest pain, started to feel extremely just exhausted and not having energy, and started to feel a little nauseous as well. She was asking me if I was okay, and I kept telling her, yeah, I'm all right, you know, the typical. So moving on, I didn't do another exercise, and I was actually thinking about getting into the sauna, which wouldn't have helped as well, would have raised my heart rate even more, so I'm glad I didn't. Ultimately, we ended up leaving. It got to the point to where I tried to stretch, and I couldn't even do that. It was just too exhausting. The pain wasn't going away either. Then that's when that scariest moment of my life kind of happened in that video where we were in the car. I told her to take me to the urgent care. I was having that shortness of breath that I mentioned in that video, which I'll put at the top, and also vomiting on myself and different things like that. The urgent care, they moved me to the ER, took blood work, took a chest x-ray. They also did another EKG. All the tests came back negative, but they also wanted to do an echocardiogram. So there's part 1 of just my health update and letting everyone know how I'm doing, how I'm moving past that moment that I kind of initially put on you guys a couple weeks ago. So this is kind of everything that worked up towards that moment. On my second part of my health update, I'll be kind of giving everything that was transpired after. Thank you for coming and watching the video. I really appreciate it. I hope you stay on this journey with me. I know God has a plan for me, and that's the thing, is just through all the confusion and everything that's happening, trying to understand that there's something bigger for me. There is a bigger purpose for me. So I will continue to keep that in mind. This video platform is not necessarily only so I can help motivate people and help inspire people and be vulnerable on this platform, but it also helps me as well. It helps me to be able to cope. It helps me to be able to display the things that I'm going through, almost as if I'm venting, or almost as if I'm mentally healing through this aspect as well. So thank you for being patient with me. Continue to watch some videos. I got a plethora of other videos that you can kind of tune into, learn something a little bit. Feel free to drop a comment. Yeah, have a blessed day.